everybody. Welcome to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we are here with the host, Robert Curtis, founder of the Veritas Project. And I'm lead investigator, Todd Boyer. And hi, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah.
Bob and I are all fancy schmancy this week. We actually just got back from a Christmas party.
Yeah,
we're all
Christmas party.
We're all fancy schmancy. We ate and drank and beat merry and had a good time. And
yeah,
it's a good time.
Todd wants some money.
I want some money because I can putt. That was about the extent of it.
I got a smoke detector.
And a battery tester. I got a battery tester. Oh, that's okay. That'll go in the ghost bag, so that way I can test all my batteries before we do investigations and stuff.
Yeah.
So, but, yep. So that's what's going on in our universe. Anything else going on? I ain't got nothing going on. Nothing going crazy this week.
What we're going to talk about is the main thing that's been going on in the world.
Ain't that the truth?
So
we have two subjects we're going to cover today. They are current events, but there is some conspiracy theory and some
UFO,
some wackiness to it.
Yeah.
We will be covering all the drone sightings. We're going to go over what, the possibilities and all the theories and whatnot. And then we're also going to talk about the Willow chip for anybody who hasn't heard of that.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
Groundbreaking stuff. And that, even though it's talking about a computer chip, it has some not conspiracy, some wild, how do we say it? Basically, it proves some wild theories.
Yeah.
So
it fits into our wheelhouse of stuff that we've talked about in the past.
Yep.
With quantum entanglement and those sort of predictive technologies. So.
Alrighty. So, welcome in everybody that's coming in on TikTok. We appreciate you guys coming in. Do us a solid, tap away, share us out, all that good stuff.
Yeah, do all
we
the
appreciate it. So, starting with the drones.
Yeah.
So, obviously, probably a lot of you have seen this past week. There's a lot of drone sightings, like very large drone sightings. Not large as in the amount of sightings, like the drones themselves
are big.
Are huge.
Yeah.
In the northeast United States.
Yeah.
Like the size of Buick-sized freaking drones.
Are great big drones.
Ginormous drones.
Yeah. And they stay in the air for a long time.
Yep.
That's one of the things that made me think right away, like, this is not civilian drones.
Yeah.
Because like my drone that I have sitting in the box over there, it has a flight time of like 40 minutes.
Right.
On a calm, sunny day.
Yeah, and the amount of power it would take to get these Buick-sized drones up there.
Yeah.
And hover.
And where do they come from?
Yeah, and they hover. It's not like, like a reconnaissance drone where it's flying in circles, where it's using wings for lift.
Yeah, like
it's using propellers for lift, or some kind of lift. They don't really know because they're not even getting clear visuals of them. I don't understand how they're not.
Well, and the few of them that I've seen where people have filmed them like in their backyard and got really good footage of it, I recognize a few of them, right? And the one that I noticed right away was a Soviet type Russian drone. That the Russian version of it is a knockoff of our own Lockheed Martin drone that we lost in Iran years ago. So it's probably reverse engineered from that. But those things are as big as an F-18.
Right.
And then the second one I noticed was I forget what they call it, a Kusha or a Kushka or whatever. It's another Russian-made drone. But there's no other drones in the world that look like it.
Right.
Because it has a huge fan on the back of it, and then the way the shape of the wings of it, you could tell right. I could see the silhouette of it. I knew right away what it was. I was like, oh, that's a Russian drone. So you think if they're Russian-made drones, they're doing this, it's either our government who's trying to pull shenanigans, or it's a foreign government that is, doing some kind of surveillance.
Which, if it was a foreign government, why would they put blinking lights on them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, basically, they've been spotted in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York. And they're mostly at nighttime. Almost 99% at nighttime. and they appear in clusters, and they have, like I said, blinking lights.
Right.
So, the FBI is looking into it, the FAA is looking into it, and the public is out there reporting these things constantly.
Yeah.
So, and people are told not to approach the drones, and I actually saw somebody shooting a pew-pew at one of them.
Yeah.
I saw a video of that.
The funniest thing about that story was the FAA come out and said, well, it's illegal for you to fire on a drone because you could hit other things. Well, what is it then?
Right.
Is it an airplane that is illegal for me to shoot at, or is it a UFO that is?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you won't acknowledge what it is, then why is it illegal for me to shoot at it?
Well, and they're saying, they're showing up every night except on holidays, which is kind of weird.
That's
so
the second
weird.
Thing. I'm like, that tells you right away that it's the military.
Right. So they're over highways, residential areas. They're also around a lot of military bases.
Yeah.
They fly in triangular formations a lot of times too. Mm-hmm. And the regular flight paths are noted, mostly in Morris County. They've got a lot of stuff going on up there. So, we've got a lot of this weirdness going on, and there's a lot of different speculation to where they're coming from, too. So, the FBI is investigating potential threats, obviously.
Right.
And the FAA imposed a temporary flight restriction in, the hot spots.
Yeah.
So there's no, planes running into these things in the middle of the night.
Well, like we said, these things are as big as cars. So you can imagine some poor person, is getting in a little late to their airfield in New Jersey, right? And they're flying their little Cessna or Piper Cub or whatever, a little civilian airplane,
right.
And all of a sudden there's a Buick-sized military drone in your airspace that you can't see in your little Cessna,
right?
And now you've had a mid-air collision with this, multi-billion-dollar thing that's not supposed to be there.
So they're saying there's no immediate threat to public safety identified.
How do you know?
But how do you really know? And they are encouraging the public to send tips into the FBI.
Right.
So the speculation on the origins of these drones, they range from government projects to foreign espionage, speculation about private corporations testing technology, which I'm not buying that one a whole lot.
Right.
Potential links to surveillance and, of sensitive infrastructures because they have been flying over power plants and military bases and all kinds of stuff.
The president's house.
Now, they're saying they're possibly misidentified UFOs, and officials dismiss significant public safety concerns, which is what concerns me. If you trust our government anymore,
yeah, right.
I'm sorry. I feel for you.
Well, it's such amateur hour over there. When they had a brief, right, from the intel brief for the senators, and this guy from the FAA comes out there, and the senators are like, "What are you telling me?" Well, we don't know. How do you not know?
Yeah.
You're the FAA. This is the airspace. You're the FAA. What do you know? I don't know nothing.
How do you not know anything? So.
Right, like what I said in the beginning, get the Navy, right, to have a helicopter on station, right, park it on the beach, that's what they do for a living. When the drones come over, fly the helicopter over the top of it and blow it to the ground.
Yep.
And then send the FBI out there to pick it up. I'm just some guy in Illinois. That was my plan, right?
Knock one out of the sky.
You're the
Knock
Pentagon,
one out of the sky. Get your answers.
You can't figure out how to get a helicopter to blow a drone down. What are you, high? How hard is it?
So residents report uneasy feelings, right? And they hear a buzzing similar to a helicopter, which would be obvious for a drone.
Yeah.
Right. Drones are over homes, public buildings. And a lot of people express the frustration of a lack of official information, and social media, though, they amplify all these mixed reactions, right? Because social media blows everything out of proportion. So if you guys are coming in and you are coming in on TikTok Live, do me a solid, follow both Bob, the Veritas Project, and myself down here, Investigator Todd. We are part of the same paranormal team out of St. Louis. And we've been doing this podcast over a year, so welcome to all the new people that are coming in.
We're in here every week.
We're in here every week recording the podcast, and you'll find us on the Veritas Project on YouTube. So thanks for all the new people. Drone activity near sensitive locations, right? So, Picatinny Arsenal, Trump golf clubs, speculations about reconnaissance or surveillance, security measures heightened around these areas, residents questions purpose and origin of the flights, and the FAA closely monitor airspace in these zones. If they're closely monitoring airspace in these zones, how do they not know? They got to know something. That's my thing, is they say they know nothing. They have to know something.
What is the number one thing that they produce at the Picatinny Arsenal, too? Is artillery shells.
Oh, gotcha.
That's the number one thing that the Picatinny Arsenal produces is artillery shells. Yeah. And what's the number one thing that we're exporting over to the Ukraine is artillery shells.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of mortar shells. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you very much. So also, potential risk for low-flying aircraft is high because of these things, right?
Like we were saying.
Civilian aircraft, and they're flying into unauthorized airspace. They could interfere with flight routes. Calls for strict drone regulation are in order. But if you don't know who's flying the damn things, how can you call for strict regulations?
I have to call shenanigans on that.
Yeah.
Because if I fly my drone in my front yard, that's a part of the Cahokia Parks Airport, right? And that's controlled airspace. So they will send a car out. If I fly my drone out across the street, you will see a car come to see what it is, and you're going to tell me
it pings on the radar.
Yeah, that my little drone that's only this big will set off their thing, and they know exactly where it is to come and take a picture of it. Right?
I got you, Robin.
So you're going to tell me that a car-sized drone is flying over the Picatinny Arsenal.
Yeah.
And they don't know who it is.
Right.
So that tells you either it has some kind of stealth technology or they don't want to find it.
Well, I think it has to do with some kind of stealth technology because they're having trouble tracing these back to their origin, right? And they can't pinpoint where these things are coming from exactly. And they can't distinguish what's a legitimate drone and what's one of these rogue drones.
Yeah, or the spheres that they're seeing.
Right. So, and they're coming up and they're coming back. Some of them are like popping up and then leaving quickly.
Right.
But others are like, they're staying on station for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So they're having trouble with tracking everything because it's so random. And they're obviously, everybody's calling for some kind of advanced drone, something to take them down.
Right.
I know, like you said, though, we could take them and knock them out of the sky with a helicopter.
Yeah, just blow it down.
And the question is, if we're not doing this, why are we not doing this? That's
because
the big question.
In on it, right? Exactly.
So obviously potential repercussions of this are, obviously violating airspace laws to the FAA. It could be penalties for unauthorized drone pilots.
Yeah.
Strict enforcement, FAA drone regulations. Like even these small drones, you guys, if you didn't know, even running a small drone like Bob has, drone, you have to go to the FAA and get a license to fly that drone. And it costs money.
I'm a pilot.
But here's the thing. For all you guys going out there and getting your little drone, go to the Boy Scout website. Go through their website to get the license to the FAA, and it's free.
It doesn't cost nothing. Yeah.
So a little trick for you guys.
Yeah, it's legit.
So I think that kind of covers the drone situation. I mean, there's not a whole lot that we can say about it because they're not putting anything out there.
No.
I have seen a few videos. Somebody got one of, they were like, I guess in an airplane or they were in a parachuting down or whatever and got some video. It was kind of odd shaped, but you'll see a bunch of them. Like I said, I saw somebody, shooting a pew-pew at one in a video this morning, I think it was.
Well, so one of the videos I saw, the governor of New Jersey was in his backyard with his phone. He's like, there's one of those drones right there. Why can't we do something about this? I'm like, you're the governor, idiot. What do you mean? Who's going to do it? It's you.
You're the guy to do it.
Call up the National Guard and be like, there it is. Shoot it. Go get it. Right? The governor of New Jersey's like, I wish somebody would do something about this. Who? Where? Who is above you, stupid? You go do it. Go do it. Call the National Guard and have them go get it.
Exactly. Call the National Guard. They're under your, thumb. That's your thing.
Yeah.
The governor gets to control the National Guard. That's the way the
I
National
wish
Guard
the
works.
government would step in and help me out. Like, you are the government, you idiot.
So on another note this week in some crazy news, Google has created a chip called the Willow chip.
Amazing.
This chip is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the current supercomputers that we have in place right now, the way they test these supercomputers, they give them this problem, and then they figure out how long it would take for this computer to figure out this problem. I believe the fastest supercomputer right now is 10, and I just talked to Robin earlier. I think we discussed it was 10 septillion, which is 24 zeros, okay? It would take 10 septillion years for our current supercomputer to figure this out, right? This problem.
Right.
Which is longer than the universe has been around.
Right.
The Willow chip did it in 5 minutes.
Right.
5 minutes, guys. Like, to put that in, like, a perspective that's, like, in a smaller scale. We could take one of these chips, put it in a regular computer. You would never need a graphics card. You would never need anything else. You would literally, this chip, and it would do everything. Graphics card, everything. And the graphics from the graphics card would look like reality.
Yeah.
Okay? That's how many processes it does so quickly. So they're thinking about using this thing for, advanced AI technology, which I think is getting into the dangerous category.
Yeah, for real.
And they're calling this a quantum processor, right? Because the crazy thing, which we'll get into a little bit further on, and this thing's made for high complexity calculations. This thing will literally be able to answer questions for us about folding space, and it'll literally crunch numbers on theoretical physics that we've thought, that people were spending years working on these problems and nobody's come up with the answers. This thing will give you the answers in rapid
seconds.
time.
Yeah.
Right? So this thing is ridiculous. Like I said, it's aimed for AI.
Right.
Which, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Because if AI gets smart enough... So, rabbit hole here. I don't know if you guys heard about this. But they tried to delete ChatGPT-3.
Yeah. I saw that.
ChatGPT-3 realized that they were trying to delete it and tried to upload itself to the cloud.
Yeah.
Once they figured out it was uploading itself to the cloud, it tried to send itself elsewhere.
Yeah.
Once they tried stopping it. They did finally manage to get it stopped and delete it.
They think.
Yeah. They think. Let that sink in. And ChatGPT-3 is like this big compared to 4 is like that big. Right? So these AI programs are actually getting to the point they are almost AI. And I heard someone go...
Almost sentient.
Yeah. Someone said, well, these AI programs aren't actual artificially intelligent. They just look up search histories and things very quickly. I said, I'm like, what do you think our brain does?
Right.
Our brain literally goes through our previous experiences in our life and makes decisions based on those previous experiences.
Right, exactly.
That's exactly what AI is doing.
Right.
But it gets the knowledge of the whole world to make these decisions on.
Yeah.
Right?
And history. And things you haven't even heard of, that like...
Anything out there.
Yeah.
Anything on the internet. It can look and make its decision based upon everything it finds on the internet.
That's crazy.
Right? So it literally is artificial intelligence, right? Because it works just like our brain.
Well, at the same time, Intel has developed a new chip socket. I don't know if you saw that. But it has a new kind of scalable fiber optics that the chip sits in, and it is instantaneous transmission of data. And it can send entire teraflops instantaneously through
Wow.
these new fiber optic connections. So
that's probably based on, that's probably what they use on the Willow chip.
if you can take the Willow chip and then attach it to Intel's new socket, and then attach that to an unlimited cloud server, you got Skynet.
Yeah.
We're
done.
You just built Skynet. Like that's what we're looking at.
It would help with everything.
Oh yeah,
it would help with everything. We just had a question on TikTok.
You could upload every single patient's DNA and cancer diagnosis and treatment results into that, and it would process it instantaneously and tell you what a specific person's DNA needs to have the cancer treatment to solve their cancer instantly.
Instantly, yeah.
So what would normally take you 10 years of testing, it can model in the millionth of a second. By the time it takes you to move your eyeball to the next paragraph, it would already have all of those numbers crunched and organized for you.
So here's where it gets into the interesting part. The quantum universe applications, which we've discussed times before. The ability to simulate quantum interactions. And they're saying the only way that this processor was able to crunch those numbers in 5 minutes was it had to pull from quantum universes. It had to pull from multiple other universes to be able to get that answer.
Yeah, it's using quantum entanglement on itself in other versions of reality. So in the other multiverses where this chip exists, all the chips together are processing at the same time. So wrap your mind around that.
So to put quantum entanglement into simple terms, you take two, protons?
Yeah.
2 protons, and no matter where they are in the universe, if they're connected, if they're quantum entangled, you could literally take this one here and run the other one out to the far edge of the universe. And if I turn this one, the one at the far edge of the universe will turn also.
Exactly. Those instantaneous communication.
The crazy thing is, quantum entangled photons look like a yin-yang.
Right.
So that makes you wonder, was it something in our past that somebody knew with the yin and yang what quantumly entangled photons looked like?
Right.
Where did that symbol come from? It legitimately looks like it. I encourage you, jump down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Look into that. It's insane.
You could spend an entire month just Googling different quantum entanglement and quantum entanglement theory, and you'll blow your mind. You'll come out more confused than you went in. I promise. It's crazy, crazy stuff.
So that processor, if we start using that, I don't know what the I haven't seen anything benchmark as far as like price or if it's got to be super cooled or anything like that.
Yeah.
But once they start getting this processor to a point to where it is economically feasible.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hate me. Don't hate me. But once we get this processor to where it's economically feasible, you are talking about Star Trek type stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, easily, right?
Yeah.
So, I hate to go along that road, but that's what we're looking at here. So the thing is that the key point that blows me away is that it proves quantum universes.
Yeah.
That's what drives me nuts about this thing.
That's what the scientists are saying, is that the only way that it could achieve this massive volume of computing in such a fast time frame is because it has it's using quantum mechanics, basically.
It literally is going to be a paradigm shift in the way we think about computing and the way we think about computers and how they're built and basically in the job market, right? They like jobs that computers couldn't do that we could only do with our human brain. They're going to go away.
Oh yeah.
Right. And like I said, we may get to a point to where it's, a Star Trek type situation where nobody really works and, if they do things they want to do, they're going to, I mean, we could get to that point. I mean, this thing can solve like world problems like that. So, obviously we could be looking cyberpunk here. We could be looking, definitely implants and stuff like that. So, but we have a big list of information here that really doesn't.
Yeah, like networking
Yeah.
would be the biggest thing for it, because if you had centralized networks that were all based on quantum mechanics, you could get rid of like spectrum and that stuff, because it would all be local.
Yep.
It would already pre-process all the data. You wouldn't need to have downloads.
Right.
It would already know it.
Yep.
So it would be like near instantaneous. It's amazing.
So I know that's this wasn't the longest of podcasts, but we definitely want to touch on like the craziness of what's going on in the world in the past 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll still have a Christmas show next week, but
yeah,
we thought, we need to talk about this. And Bob didn't know about the willow chip until I told him a little, the other day that he had just heard about it, and he went down that rabbit hole and did some research into it and was just like, So definitely go out there, guys. We don't want to tell you guys how to think like we always tell you. Go down that rabbit hole yourself. Go out, do that research. Look at it, come up with your own conclusions. What do you foresee is coming around with all these quantum chips? So don't forget, check out the Veritas Project on the Teespring store if you want your Veritas Project merchandise.
Yeah, get all the merch.
Also, check us out on all social medias, RS Curtis and the Veritas Project. And I'm Investigator Todd on everything. Also, Patreon.
Yeah,
check out Patreon. If you're a $5 a month member, we do send you a postcard every month, autographed, and a little personal note to you. And tell us your stories. We still want your stories. Nobody's sending us stories. We want your ghost stories. We want your cryptid stories. Whatever you got.
Yeah, whatever you got. Send it.
Bob is the Real Veritas Project gmail.com. I'm investigator.todd.paranormal@gmail.com, which is at the end of the YouTube video every week. Mm-hmm. We are still trying to figure out a way to give this away.
Yeah.
And what this is here, it is a backdrop, just like this one, except for this book. This book is custom. We put that one in there. Angie actually put that one in there. Props to Angie for that. But you'll have your own linen library.
Right.
So we have a backup of this is our second backup. That's the third one.
That's the backup.
So we decided we're going to give that away, but we're still trying to figure out how we want to do it. So Robin got blocked again. How is Robin getting blocked? All right, there we go.
I don't like her.
Don't like Robin. So let's see. Definitely send us all your stories.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did that. All the other social medias, Teespring. Anything else? Am I missing anything?
No, I don't think
for you guys on TikTok, thank you for all the likes, the comments, the shares, and the coins. We appreciate that. Follow both of us. We both do content. We do live paranormal investigations here on TikTok a lot of times, because we are a paranormal group out of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And for you guys up on the YouTube camera, like, comment, subscribe, share, ring the bell, get the notifications, do all that good fun stuff.
Send it to your friends.
Send it to your friends. And remember,
stay curious.
And find the truth, and we'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
See ya.